What's up guys, welcome back to the channel. So in this video we're going to talk about a major controversy which is happening with the Ghost of Yotei and other games, especially around the character design. Now there's different opinions on this. Of course, there's always going to be people who are against and for it. Let's look what's happening and why this is a big issue and why people are talking about this. So it's important to understand the history of this. Over the last 4 years or so, many game companies have been producing games with a lot of DEI focus in mind, as in they produced a lot of content in which the character was completely focused on the inclusion elements, making the character very uglified, very unappealing, very unattractive. And that's been the move with like the Western companies. I mean, Sony right now is very westernized, which is a big issue for many people. And we see here the example. So this one, right, designed with gamers in mind, designed with activists in mind. We have another example. Look at Wuchang Fallen Feathers. This is Wuchang Fallen Feathers. There's some comparisons here. We have obviously the characters. This is made by a Chinese company, by the way. They have different ideas. In China, DEI doesn't exist. In China, the queer world does not exist. It's simple as that. That's the truth, right, in China. So for them, making attractive characters for straight people is the norm, right? Which is the question here. What should gaming companies actually make? Should they make attractive characters for the majority of gamers or for the small portion of gamers who want to feel inclusive, who want to look at their inclusivity and making sure they're not attractive so that other people feel like they feel bad about themselves? Because in the Western world, for some reason, medias and the press has been selling to us the story that you have to make game characters to help you identify with them, right? And over the years we've seen this with many gaming companies, like they're trying to make sure that in the West you can play with a character which is as close as possible to like the flaws of real life, right? Which is the thing. Now this is the issue here. Many people are complaining that that's not what they want. They want the character to, of course, I mean, we are talking about feudal Japan or medieval Japan. Obviously they're not going to be models, common sense, right? But this is the problem. We have some examples. You can make an attractive character and also stay faithful to the history, right? Which is what we've seen with, again, with Wuchang Fallen Feathers. Like it's ancient China or like medieval China, and the character is still very attractive, as you can see, obviously in the pictures and the images. She's a pirate, by the way. She's a Chinese pirate, obviously in like ancient China or medieval China, whatever, right? And you can see the character is looking very fine, very great. So that is the biggest issue we have right now in the gaming. And I believe that Sony's choice, of course, is very influenced by DEI. As you can imagine, in America right now, the DEI policies, this game was developed in the height of DEI between 2020 and 2024, when many companies were getting money to promote DEI agendas, inclusivity agendas. And again, this is very controversial. I know there will be many people who will dislike this video just because I'm talking about this, but this is an important topic because many companies don't understand they're going to lose on sales, and then they're going to ask themselves the big question: why do we not sell as many games as we wanted for this particular type of genre? Because it has good combat, good action, but then maybe, just maybe, they don't sell as much as they wanted. The answer is very simple, right? That's what signs, this is a really good one. That's what signs are pointing to at the moment. I would consider Ghost of Tsushima a 10 out of 10, but I have no intention of buying this new game. No one looks at that and wants to play it. I stand with gamers. That Yotei protagonist wants to make me throw up a bit. Yes, that's why they're now trying to window dress Yotei with lo-fi hip-hop and a variety of unnecessary bells and whistles. Maybe I'm completely wrong, but I'm almost sure that they used an outside consulting company with a desire to DI and virtue signal, for example, Sweet Baby Inc. We have the next one, female main characters of a late 50s Kurosawa movie, by the way. Activists hate beauty. Yes, this is from a movie character from a Kurosawa movie from the 50s, right? Just look at her, right? All right, ready? Are you ready? Okay, let's go back up. So you tell me, what's the problem here, right? So in many gaming environments, as you can see here, people, I mean, yeah, like it's just obvious, right? Ghost of Tsushima is probably my favorite game of the last 15 years, so damn disappointing. The game I was looking forward for most this PlayStation generation was a Ghost follow-up, and instead they gave us this trash, depressing. So people are not happy. People do not want to have a character which is looking so ugly, and that's the problem. They're going to now not sell as many copies as they wanted, and they're going to blame it on the games, they're going to blame it on the market, they're going to blame it on the economy and stuff like that, right? Which is not the case. If you are smart enough as a gaming company and you know what gamers want, is pretty damn obvious. So I ask you as a gamer, what is your opinion on this? Do you believe that this is fine, is acceptable, you don't care, you don't mind? Would you prefer a more attractive character in your game? That's the big question here at hand. It seems that most people who look at these posts, they seem to think like this one, for example, should this character design replace Ghost of Yotei, protagonist? Honestly, even if you posted a blank image, the answer would be yes, right? What I have here, sadly a lot of people got girl boss fatigue. Bro, this would be so much better. Yes, day zero PC mod. Yeah, that's right. The watercolor aesthetic on the clothing is actually pretty sick. Too simply, the more realistic this and Atsu are both mid. Yes, I would actually buy it. Yes, but it won't. She doesn't need the makeup, and even though women back then had it, of course, yeah, they had it. Sure, apparently we're not going for realism anymore anyway. That would be an improvement. Cringe, yes. I'm a base player. I saw her in quite cheap game price, so didn't hesitate to buy this game. Though with Yotei, I hesitate a lot. So obviously this person is talking about this game. They bought this game, Wuchang Fallen Feathers, but they're not gonna buy Yotei just because they don't like the character design. So for a company, guys, this is really, really important. Again, AAA companies will disagree with this, especially Western companies, but we've seen that Asian companies over the last 12 months have made profit after profit after profit. And the answer to that question of why is very simple, because they're catering to the 90% of the audience who is going to buy their game. As a business person, as an executive, as a corporation, right? If you want to make the most profit, you have to understand what's your market base. If your market base is this particular market base, then you know that yes, you have to make a game for that particular market base. Otherwise, people are going to reply back and say, well, you know what, this is an ugly ass character. I'm not gonna play with the game because the character is very ugly. And that's why people install mods in the game. So guys, that's it for this short video on this analysis on this topic. I know some people will find this very controversial. Some people will say that this is not the case. Some people will say that this is not going to happen, that this is not going to make a difference, that you know, it's not a problem at the end of the day. But honestly, I believe it is a problem, and we shall see the answer. We shall see the outcome. And again, if you know, if Ghost of Yotei does not sell as much as they wanted, and then you know the executives go to a meeting, and then they're like, "Oh, why did we not sell extra 3 million copies or whatever?" And then they don't understand the answer. It's very plain simple, right? I mean, I'm pretty sure when this game comes on PC, many people will mod the game straight away and, you know, change the textures on the face of the character because it just looks so jarring, to be honest. And yeah, that was honestly my only complaint about the game, is that they could have made the main character a bit more aesthetically pleasing. I mean, they could have just made the main character a bit, I know, just a bit better looking, but they went for the, you know, annoying Karen kind of character, and understandable so, because this game, again, was built between 2020 and 2024 or 2025, right? So because of that, they used a lot of policies which are at the height of that time, which is basically make it as inclusive as possible to the general modern audience, which, by the way, we discovered in 2025 that it does not exist, because many companies which made games for the quote-unquote modern audience, what happened with them? Well, it's pretty obvious. Many of them have failed and lost lots of money, For example, just to not even go that far, a recent one, Dragon Age the Veilguard, right? Another one, Avowed. We have another one which was Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League. I mean, I can go on and on and on. Of course, those games also had mechanical problems, gameplay problems. It's not just about the main character, right? Obviously, right? But this is a big factor, and many people are, you know, Ghost of Dogface Pony Soldier. I mean, yeah, Walk of Yotei. I mean, yeah, many people are annoyed. And that's the thing. As an executive, if you don't understand this, like if you're an executive in this company at Sony and you don't understand this basic concept that making the character more attractive is going to attract more sales, it's a simple math. 1 + 1 is 2. 1 + 1 will never be 3. Does not matter how much you argue, it's never going to be a 3. It's always going to be a 2. What does that mean? That proven tactics always work. If you want to go for the, we'll say the DEI route, you can of course go for it and, you know, have fun with it. But remember, when you don't make enough sales and you're going to complain about it, don't complain against the gamers, right? Complain to your consultants who gave you bad advice and told you that you want to cater the game to the modern audience, which, by the way, again, I'm very sorry, it does not exist. So guys, that's it for today's video. As always, I shall see you later in the next one.